Well, hey there. Let me just adjust. All right. 40-day prosperity plan, day 24. Statement 4. I'm bragging on myself right now. It's in my stories. So no more, well, I stopped really drinking cow's milk a while ago. Every once in a while I would have it, but like little sips of it, because this was not working for my body. It doesn't work for most African American bodies. But so because I've been doing this work with my naturopath, I have been able to alleviate what I thought was an allergy to almonds, cashews, walnuts. I wasn't allergic to these things. It's just that my body wasn't properly processing the nuts. And so I would throw up if I ate these things, and avocado, which made me so sad. I might try guacamole today and see. Anyway, this morning I wanted some hot chocolate. So I made some hot chocolate with almond milk. I had some cacao powder, almond milk, sugar, vanilla, cinnamon, had some oat-based whipped topping. Good to go. All right, but let me get into statement 4. It's pretty thick too. That's what she said. All right. I'm in a happy mood today. Day 24. Through my consciousness of my God self, the Christ within, as my source, I draw into my mind and feeling nature the very substance of spirit. This substance is my supply. Thus, my consciousness of the presence of God within me is my supply. Through my consciousness of my God self, the Christ within, as my source, I draw into my mind and feeling nature the very substance of spirit. This substance is my supply. Thus, the consciousness of the presence of God within me is my supply. So as I'm reading this, I'm thinking about something that should have got more water. I was watching a live stream yesterday with Oyi Carter. You can find him on Facebook, OYI, and on Instagram. I was watching a live stream with him yesterday on Instagram, and he was talking about your purpose versus your business. And what he was saying resonated with me, because it's also what one of my teachers, Perry Chase, teaches us, is that you are in service to something. And this, to me, as I was reading just now, as I was reading statement 4, I can see how that ties in. So if your job is not your supply, right? It looks like it is. It looks like it is. It looks like your clients are your supply. It looks like however you're getting money, that mechanism, it looks like that's your supply. And without that supply, you'd have nothing. But what these statements are saying is that those physical things that you see are the outcomes, not the thing. And how you increase and can expand the outcomes is to increase and expand your understanding and knowing and knowledge that you are the walking embodiment of divine consciousness in human form. You are the walking embodiment of this omnipresent, lavish abundance that is constantly going and has no beginning and no end. You are the walking embodiment of that in this form that you're in. And one of the ways to really harness that is to understand what Perry would say is what are you in service to, and what Oyi was saying in his live stream is what is your purpose. And it's really the same thing, at least to me. If you feel that your purpose is to go to work, to collect a paycheck, and that's it, that's fine. I mean, I'm a believer that we have many lifetimes to try out different things. And this might be the lifetime where you came to coast. This might be the lifetime where you're like, I'm not interested in waking up my third eye. I'm not interested in, getting all into, my pineal gland. I'm not interested in the energy and this. I'm not interested in that. I came to life this, this incarnation in this body to just like do some work and chill. I hold no judgment of that. I of course I wish everybody would like pop open, but it's cool if you don't. However, if you're someone who you do feel like that's what you're here to do this lifetime, then part of what will assist you in your growth is understanding and finding your purpose. What are you in service to? What did you come here to teach? What did you come here to know? What did you really come here to embody? What did you come here to deeply experience? That is how you start to get in touch with, on a deeper level, because you're always in touch with, but on a deeper level, that spirit or essence of the God self or the Christ self or source energy that flows through you. And with that being your supply, that mechanism of which the thing that you are on purpose or in service to will then bring back toward you the I don't want to just say the money that you're looking for, right? But it'll bring that back to you. So, for instance, I will say that I am in service to sovereignty and power. And I'll talk a little bit about, well, you know what? I'll explain how I got there, because maybe you don't know how to figure out what you're in service to. So I'm in service to sovereignty and power. I've always been someone who has embodied or just done something sensually. And when I say sensually, it doesn't necessarily mean sexually. And I've always been involved in the body. From a very young age, my parents were Buddhists first. Nam-myoho Renge-kyo, Nam-myoho Renge-kyo. And so I learned how to meditate early on, the first formative years of my life. At 6 years old, we transitioned to the Nation of Islam. So, but those first 2 to 3 years that I can remember, I remember meditating. I remember meditating with my parents. I got into dance. My mother put us in dance. I think I ran track one season. Not a runner. My mother was a dancer, and so she was always interested in us doing something with the body. I never played like a sport. I did intramural sports in high school because we had to do a sport. But I did do dance again. I always liked to work out. Eventually I became a personal trainer, a group fitness instructor, volunteered with the Department of Parks and Recreation. And so I'm giving you the boring pieces of the resume because I want you to begin to understand and tie it all together so that you can maybe look at the threads in your own life. I'm using me as an example so you can hopefully follow the threads of your life to see, well, what might my purpose be? So this whole entire time I'm thinking my purpose is definitely health and wellness and fitness. At the same time, there's the mystical side. And I'm doing tarot card readings and I'm using those gifts that I had to assist people and so forth and so on. And at the same time, I'm feeling extremely powerless in my life. And at the same time, I'm extracting myself from a relationship in which I learned so much about me, but wasn't healthy. I'm learning how to hold my power. I'm learning how to stand on my own. So a couple of things. What you've always been drawn to, in my case, health, the body, sex, is most likely part of your purpose. What you've had to overcome most, for me, it was being sovereign and being the authority in my life and also understanding my own individual power, is also part of your purpose and perhaps what you came to teach. When I realized that, after looking through the threads of my life, what my experiences were. Sexual assault, you know, I mean, there are several different times I've had, you know, people try to force themselves on me literally, sexually. It's interesting that that's what I end up going into, is Tantra, right? When I combine all of those things together, I can see and understand clearly, oh, this is my purpose. The reason my business is named Central Energy Alchemy. And again, I'm using myself as a blueprint for you to unravel. It's not so much about you telling you about me, but I want you to be able to kind of go through this in your own life to see how this can unfold for you. And then I'm going to tie it back into statement 4. My business is called Central Energy Alchemy because the central part is of the body, which is something that, like I said, has always been a thread in my life. Energy is power. It's how something moves in physics. It's how things get going. And that was part of what I needed to understand. Alchemy is the way something is able to shift, the way you're able to transmute something, the way you're able to take the worst of the shit and turn it into something else. I put all that together before I understood my purpose, which is interesting. Before I understood what I was really in service to. That was that infinite abundant mind already speaking through me, even if I didn't necessarily know it. So when you are, now back to you. When you have a deep embodied understanding that you are this walking awareness, you are awareness in flesh. And I want you to close your eyes and take a deep breath in and see how that feels in your body to say, I am walking awareness. I am walking consciousness in a human body. Because for me, it gives me this feeling and this sense of being expanded beyond myself. I can feel my energy expand beyond the actual physical form. And that's your auric energy, right? There's 7 layers of it, by the way. So when you are embodying that and understanding it, able to look back over your life, see what you've been involved in, see the threads that have tied together, you may have a better understanding of what your soul, why you're in this body in this lifetime. What are you here to learn, to teach, whichever way? And that becomes your source, your supply. So this is why this makes sense. So let's say, I'll try to think of 2 different examples. So let's say you're an entrepreneur, you know, because I happen to have a lot of entrepreneur connections on here. Let's say you're an entrepreneur and, you know, you want to go into business, you know, because you want to make money, and you have a business idea. You want to, I'm trying to think of something really benign here. You want to go into real estate. I do think real estate is great, by the way. I'm going to learn about it myself. But let's say you want to go into real estate because you hear that's a really good moneymaker. But you don't have any interest in this. It's not what calls you. You're simply only doing it for the money. Right? Where your heart is, what lights you up with joy is candle making. I'm just using some contrast here. Don't take this as like gospel or anything. Right? You can throw in any 2 things. It doesn't matter. You could actually flip it, right? You could say you're gonna make let's flip it. You want to make candles because you want to make money. You figure it's an easy thing to do. You sit at home, you make some candles, yay, you make some money. And you're struggling with it. You're struggling, but man, over here it's like this thing is calling you, like you know, looking at the buildings and wondering, you know, how you would flip it and what you would do with it. You know, and then you look back over your life and you notice how you have worked in, you know, a rental office, or you were doing grounds maintenance somewhere, or you were somehow involved in a company that was involved in real estate, and you realize over time, or you were involved in positions that had you doing sales, and you realize over the thread of your life, and you look at the things that you've done, and you're like, I've always kind of been involved in this somehow, or learning about it somehow. Why am I doing candles? Because I think that's like the cool thing to do. Maybe this is what I need to be doing over here. And the same thing goes if you're working for someone else. And it doesn't mean you need to quit your job. But perhaps the job that you're doing isn't the thing that's part of the purpose. You could have a very noble, wonderful profession. Teacher, nurse, anything like that. But really, the other thing, if you're a teacher, really what you want to do is be a nurse. If you're a nurse, what you really want to do is be a teacher. You see, it's not really about whether or not you're working for yourself or not. I'm not on that bandwagon of everybody needs to be an entrepreneur. Because there's some people who are good at being like the boss, and then there's some people who are really great at support. And we need both. People who are great at support got nothing if there's nobody building a business, and people who are building a business won't get very far without the support. So I don't think one is better than the other. But what aligns with your purpose? Because whatever it is that aligns with your purpose, that is the abundant mind of source energy, that Christ consciousness that is flowing through your body. That's the thing. And that's what becomes the source of your supply. Hopefully this makes sense. That's what I kind of went around, but I hope it makes sense. That's the source of your supply. That thing that lives through this body, that awareness that lives through this body, that allows itself to take in, because, right, your antenna is clear, right? Or clearer. And so you're able to receive those messages and receive those downloads of, yes, this is my purpose. Yes, this is what I want to do. This is what I'm here for. And even if the leap seems scary, you're able to take it. Because as you take a step, 5 steps light up in front of you, 5 more steps light up in front of you. You don't know all the answers. You don't know what the path looks like, but you the faith and trust. I'm going to post this clip. I posted it before, Indiana Jones. In the third movie, I think, the third or fourth movie. I think it's the third movie with Sean Connery was in it with him playing his father. And in one scene, he's got to go across these 2 mountains, and there's nothing. Like, it's a drop. And, he's looking for the Holy Grail. And in order to do this, he has to take a leap of faith. He has to step out and believe that the bridge is there, even if he can't see it. And he does so, and obviously, the bridge was there, and he understood what faith was. When you are tapped in, flowing together, when your ego and your body are the instrument that divine intelligence is using on this earth in order for you to have this life, things flow differently. You're not worried about your supply of abundance. It is always there because you are always tapped into the constant, ever-flowing abundance that exists. You can never run out of anything. Nothing. Except for possibly toilet tissue in these crazy times, because I think people are still hoarding the toilet tissue. Let me read it again. Through my consciousness of my God self, the Christ within as my source. And let me I'm not going to touch on this too much this time. Maybe we do this for the last round. Christ is a title. Yeshua was a person. Christ is a title. Okay. I just want to throw that out there to you. Through my consciousness of my God self, the Christ within as my source, I draw into my mind and feeling nature the very substance of spirit. This substance is my supply. Thus, my consciousness of the presence of God within me is my supply. So again, going back to, what is my purpose? What am I in service to? Why am I even here on this planet? Am I here to just work this 9 to 5? Maybe. Is it part of your purpose and your plan? Are you tapped into that Christ consciousness within you? Is it part of your purpose and plan to do what you're doing? No? Then tap into that. Look over the threads of your life to see, where have you consistently and constantly, what have you been involved in? You might think it was random, but nothing is random. The seeds were always planted throughout you, your whole entire life. Shit, when I was 11, I knew I wanted to be a psychiatrist. Till I found out that I had to go to medical school. But what do? I'm basically a coach. The seeds are always there when you're able to follow the thread. Tune in and tap in to that God self within you, and let that thing, that force, that energy be your supply. All right, that's it. There is something new brewing in my head. I'm not going to say what it is yet, because I feel like there's more work that I need to do on my end, but it came to me today, and I don't even know why I'm talking about it right now. It came to me today. I'm like very excited about it, and I'm just going to hold it in the back and see what happens. All right, so Slow is this Saturday, October 2nd, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So around the world, you are able to join. This is for women. We are doing embodiment. We are working through some emotions in this. And we have to. Like, it has been, well, oh my gosh, it's almost 2 years now that we've been in, it's a year and a half that we've been in the midst of all of this craziness that's been going on. And you know, much love to all the protests and all the things and all the people screaming at the wind. But if we really want to create change, we got to do like Michael Jackson, start with the man in the mirror. We really have to get clear and clean with ourselves so we can then transmute that energy out into the world. And in order to do that, you got to do embodiment work. There's really not any way around that. The mental part is cool. The meditation is awesome. But you need to start getting into your body to break up those emotions that are stuck in there. The grief, the anger, the sadness. Allow the joy to shake through. Allow the pleasure to come through. And we're going to be working through all of that in Slow this Saturday, 1 p.m. I will post the link in the comments. You can also head to my website, centralenergyalchemy.com, and you can join the women who have already signed up to begin to shift their lives. Yeah, and I think that's it for today. All right, I love you. Look at the threads of your life. Look at the threads of things that you have been involved in. Look at the lessons that have come your way over and over and over and over again. And you will find in there the gold of your purpose. And when you begin to expand upon that, you will find all new ways to increase your own abundance and prosperity. All right? I will see you all tomorrow for day 25. Love you. Bye.